Our court being present, we have a quorum. Anybody sign up for open forum?
No, sir.
Our consent agenda, any concerns?
No concerns, Judge.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 4.
Item 4, discussion and possible action related to proposed legislation to reclaim, conserve, and reuse of excess surface water. Judge, Commissioner, we've been working with the law firm of Atlas Hall and Mr. Steve Crane specifically on this item. It's trying to modify or add some language to existing law in order for us to be able to capture and reuse water without having to go through a TCQ permit. I'll let Mr. Steve Crane elaborate a little bit more on the legalities of that issue.
Judge, Commissioners, the Water Code currently contains some exemptions for various activities that do not have to have a TCEQ permit. Some of those activities involve, for example, a ranch that has a drainage pond or a stock pond that can only have 200 acre-feet of water. That's an exempt transaction. There's some other exempt transactions in the law, such as for gas and oil drilling. And what this legislation does is it would apply to any county that borders the Gulf of Mexico that has one or more drain ditches emptying into the Gulf, bordering Mexico that has one or more drain ditches emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. And what this exemption would do is say that if you are that county, which is obviously either us or Cameron County, then you would not have to obtain a TCEQ permit in order to, what we're talking about is that on the drain ditches going from the drainage district here to the Gulf of Mexico to try to capture that water in something like a reservoir. So when we have rain events, or we could capture that water and then use that water to supply other cities, irrigation districts, or other persons water from that reclaimed, captured water.
Are we kind of lining ourselves up for that reserve? I mean, those ponds for precinct 4 or what?
Well, that would be one, but also potentially we may want to look at sometime in the future building a bigger reservoir on either one or both those drainage ditches.
So you're recommending this?
I'm very much recommending it.
Second.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, sir.
What about the other entities that are looking into doing something similar?
Well, that's the reason we've drafted this legislation, so it only applies to counties that border the Republic of Mexico and have one or more drain ditches going into the Gulf of Mexico. And the reason for that language is so that this will not be a statewide issue, because there's other areas in the state that have different problems than we do, and we don't want to be caught up in their problems.
Is there a conflict with some of the efforts by the cities, such as?
Well, we would not have a conflict because those other people would not have drain ditches going into the Gulf of Mexico.
So this would include Willacy County, Cameron County, Hidalgo County?
Well, Willacy County doesn't border the Gulf of Mexico. The only two counties that would fit this.
Yeah, but I mean that drain ditch runs all the way up to.
Right. It would be taking water from Hidalgo County and stormwater from Hidalgo County and Willacy County.
Does this affect the La Villa reclamation project that we're working on?
No, sir, because the only effect it wouldn't affect it, but any stormwater around La Villa that did not go into the La Villa reclamation project that went into our drain ditches, it would only affect our drain ditches.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 5.
Number 5, discussion and action to purchase from Hidalgo County Tract Number 2, 3.49 acres out of Texas Mexican Railway Company survey dated March 7, 2012, location of property precinct 4, Old Shop, as previously authorized by the Board of Directors on July 31st, 2012. This is the second tract of land that's bordering us that we're purchasing from the precinct in order for our shop to be expanded to the north side. We had bought the previous tract of land on the backside last year. This is a section up front, and we've been waiting for Commissioner Joseph Palacios to move his staffing or his equipment over to the new shop. Commissioner?
Right, this is where we're moving into that road building, and we're going to continue the construction of a shop. We're just getting a second payment and vacating the premises so that they can take over the building.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6, request approval of payment, request number 5 from McAllen Construction, Inc., for project number 12-013-0410, construction replacement weir in conjunction with NRCS grant, main floodwater channel, weir number 2, Willacy County, Phase 2, and that is for the amount of $139,156.37.
Move for approval.
Second.
That's both A and B.
Yes.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Did that also include the request approval to issue manual check after review and
Yes.
audit pay request?
A and B.
Thank you, sir. Item 7, pursuant to the resolution adopted September 4th, 2012, identifying the exclusive projects that may be undertaken with the use of bond proceeds, and whereas a designation was made that 15 million be used for rural drainage development and 10 million be used for system acquisition, we have 2 items for the board's consideration. Item A, discussion and action to allocate the 15 million for rural drainage development equally to each precinct. Each precinct would be allocated $3,750,000 upon the issuance of bonds and receipt of proceeds for the purpose of rural drainage development in their respective areas. We presented this to this board for the board's consideration to avoid any issues of how the money is being distributed between the county. So I presented this for official board action, even though the money is not available right now, but in order to lay out the groundwork for these particular items.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, discussion, direction, action to define projects and equipment the district will acquire with the 10 million designated for system acquisition on the bond resolution for 2013 issuance of bonds. Commissioners, this particular item is listed on the overall bond referendum that the district is allocating $10 million for acquisition of assets that the county in previous expenditures has expanded on the master drainage system of the district. We have $10 million and we received delineation of different land acquisition of projects that different precincts has acquired over the past 4 or 5 years and or equipment. So we're wanting to see if that is going to be the wishes of this board as to how we proceed. We've gotten a listing from precinct number 4, a listing from precinct number 2, a listing of equipment from precinct number 1, and we're here for y'all's direction on that item.
I feel that we should take no action on this till the auditor certifies everybody's needs. But I believe precinct 1 needs about $1 million for that TxDOT project.
Yes. And also, I was also going to ask, what about any work that was done in precinct 1 on drain ditches and all that? Can
Well,
we?
what I was recommend is take no action on this right now, but the court can authorize precinct 1 to borrow the money from the general fund. Can that be done, Steve? And take no action on this for right now, and then once we approve it, pay back to the general fund? Judge, what do you think about that?
How long do you think that will take?
He needs that money pretty pronto.
When you say general fund, you're talking about the
Drainage district.
From the drain?
Yeah.
Can that be done?
It's up to,
Do we have the money?
Do we
I
have the
guess?
money?
we have
No, we
money
don't
in
have
our
the money
fund
till March.
balance.
Sure.
We have money in our fund balance.
Okay, that's
I'm just,
quite-
whatever legal says, that's,
Well, it would have to come from the county general fund,
Yeah.
not the drainage district general fund.
Can this monies, those $10 million be used for any particular project, but it's got to be a drainage project?
no, sir. Basically, the way we've looked at it is there's 2 expenditures or 3 maybe that the county has done. The county has utilized COs in the past, 8, 9, 10, whatever issues we're in. So the money came in from COs. Some of the precincts also have used some of their particular road and bridge to do some of the work.
Because I remember back in 2009, there was a special CO for precinct 4 for those particular projects. That's money that's supposed to go back to the the county general fund, right?
My understanding is the money that we give y'all, I'm referring to the commissioners, it's money that y'all expended as a county. And there was some delineation of bonds between each precinct over the past 6, 7 years. So I defer back to Balde to find out what those COs identified for you.
My only question is that precinct 1 needs that money for that TxDOT project. And,
Yeah. I don't think there's a question on the assets on precinct 1, on the equipment. I think he itemized a listing of equipment that you obviously are going in agreement.
Yes, sir.
There's no question on that. Precinct 2 and precinct 4 obviously has to do the due diligence to supply all the backup, labor hours that we're stating, titles to lands that we acquired. I agree with Commissioner Flores. I think we should take a no action so that we can certify that all of what we're requesting is validated, not just by an ambiguous number, but all the certified backup that the budget office and the auditor can do. I have no problem taking a no action on
So
it, just so that we're able to.
we got to be sure, because there were some federal funds involved in those projects, and we need to be sure that everything's being certified.
So would y'all like for us, the list that y'all have given us, to get some type of letter from the budget officer or the auditor saying where those monies came from?
Exactly. I mean, I want to make sure that whatever, even in my case, whatever I'm supplying, that at the end of the day, that we're precinct 4 COs, not countywide COs. I think we need to be very prudent and do our due diligence to assure that whatever we're requesting as a precinct, as an individual, that at the end of the day, it came from our coffers, not the countywide coffers.
No,
So we
would
appropriately get the
I would
money.
agree with the recommendation.
So I'll get with Valdez or the budget office and hand to them what y'all have given us, commissioners.
But meanwhile, somebody's got to get with precinct 1, see how much money they're going to need. How much do you think they're going to need?
Well, we
Right
have
close to $1 million, we can.
I know that the money
Andrew,
that
you
we're
know,
gonna,
it's that MPO project for the, for precinct 1. You remember how much was their share?
I didn't hear the whole question.
That, one of that project he's got is one of those TxDOT projects. Do you know
Yes,
how
sir.
much his matching funds are going to be?
If I knew which project you were referring to, because we have a couple.
Which project is
The
that, sir?
Mile 2 West project, Commissioner.
Raul, do you know?
The Mile 2 West project, we met with TxDOT Friday. The amount is closer to 800 than $1 million. You know, it's
Okay.
800,000.
Pull them out too.
Steve, can we do that?
Yes.
Well, we need to discuss that on the county agenda, because this is the drainage district.
All right.
All right, do you still need to speak, Mr. Travers?
I have a question. I understand the meeting originally scheduled for February with the bond rating company and bond counsel was put off until March 5th. And just conversation here, I understand, is that also the date which the bonds will be sold? An important piece of information is the bond rating. I'd like to ask if it's yet available now or when it will be made available, please.
Judge, Commissioner, the bond rating is available. As a matter of fact, last meeting, we did read the ratings to the board. What I can do is get a copy of the ratings from S&P and Moody's and give y'all a copy of it.
Well, Godfrey,
Yes, sir. We presented those ratings last week, but I'll give you a copy of it. We get it in open session.
pero I think it's you.
Go ahead.
Godfrey,
Yes, sir.
Do you have that information available now?
On what part, sir? On the ratings?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Basically, we have two ratings. One is a AA rating, and the other one's an small A2 rating. So our ratings were boosted up from our previous ratings. So we have a higher rating right now than we previously had.
All right, it was determined there'd be no action taken in this item.
Judge, just a question. Can we at least develop the standard of what we're looking at? Godfrey, when you're talking about assets acquisition, you're talking about if there was any right-of-way acquisitioning or parcels purchased, that we should in fact submit deeds for those purchases. All labor and equipment, we need to specify exactly what fund it came from. I just want to make sure that there's a consensus from the court, that we accurately go through it.
And yes, sir, Commissioner Cuellar asked one question, and I'll try to clarify. Commissioner Cuellar, there was COs sold by this county for drainage improvements. Precinct 1 utilized those monies, I believe, to start maintaining and cleaning the ditches that were turned over by the irrigation district.
Okay.
So if we're taking over those ditches, it seems to me it's an expenditure that the county did for those drainage improvements. So if you can tally up those hours, just like the Precinct 4 has been doing, that is something that has a value on those ditches that we're going to be taking over.
Okay.
Another thing, Mr. Garza, is
Yes, sir.
all that equipment that was purchased by precinct 4, that was going to be sold back to the drainage district once we finished with it, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that included on there?
No, sir.
No, it's not included.
The precinct is still utilizing some of their equipment, so that's why we didn't go and purchase that. But basically, all of the equipment that the county purchased through its COs for drainage was equipment that the district was going to acquire from them at a future date.
Yeah.
Godfrey,
Yes, sir.
you had some concerns about a particular project that I think you indicated did not qualify for reimbursement.
One of the projects that we're looking at is some of these lands that were acquired, Commissioner, to make sure that the land is not going to be utilized by the county for an additional purpose. So we need clarification on some of these lands that the precinct might have bought that is going to be utilizing for a park. We cannot buy land from the county to be utilized for a
We didn't
park.
submit any of those. That's not on the list.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe some of that money was used to buy that land at the airport, no?
Yes, sir, and that is being closed, that land is being repurchased from the Edinburgh Airport, so there'll be income coming into the county, about $800,000 once that property closes shortly. And those, again, go back to the COs associated with drainage project.
Right, we just want to make sure that wherever the COs was pulled from, that's where the money goes to. And
Because
that's just the
your
bottom line.
COs that y'all sold, Commissioner, are getting identified, drainage, roads, et cetera. So when the money goes back into those COs, that is the purpose for which that money can be spent.
Now, it's my understanding, we're going to exclude anything that had federal assistance, federal
Yes,
dollars
sir.
to
We
it.
cannot pay for something that was already paid for with federal dollars or urban county dollars because they're all tied into the state. So that's free money that came into a project.
Because I remember clearly back in 2009, I handed over $2 million to Precinct 4 that was federal funds for those particular projects. Yep.
I know that there was some money that came into the county, and I know that the commissioners were helping Commissioner Garza at that time, and y'all didn't have a need for certain money, so it was passed over to Precinct 4 to utilize on their improvements. But that's something that,
I agree with the process. I just want to make sure that everything is on the up and up.
yes, sir.
Yeah, well, we're prepared to submit everything possible, and we want it certified. I believe we've already submitted. We've already been certified that those are the funds from COs. So I have no problem going through the process. I just want to make sure there's a standard that we're following.
And I'll ask Bob there to put on what COs they came from with a description of what's available for expenditures of COs for y'all.
Perfect. That one.
Good.
All right.
Judge, Commissioners, we do have some items under closed session for the board's consideration.
Need a pursuant of 551-071 and 072 and 074, need a motion to proceed to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Era Bella.
The bio is the whole thing, the summary.
Yeah.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the-
Oh, yeah.
You want me to read it or you do?
You can read it.
Is that mine or yours?
That's yours, Commissioner.
All right, we're back in open session. Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, we will proceed as directed on the two items from executive session.
All right, need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioners.
Sir. This time, we're going to convene our regular Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting for today, February the 12th, 2013. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Virginia, Ms. Townsend?
Dear Father in heaven, please bless all of us today. Help us to make good decisions. Help us to remember that we're all here because we care about the county. Please send rain, dear Lord. We need it so badly. Bless our families, bless our nation, bless our troops. Help us always be thankful for the country that we live in. And we ask all of this in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Any concerns with the consent agenda?
Yes, Judge. There are some concerns under the consent agenda. And so, Marty, I am going to ask that consent agenda item 4C be no action at this time. We're going to no action, item 4C.
We're going to no action then?
We're going to no
Okay.
action, yes, sir. And Marty, then you have consent agenda item 3P, 11B, 11D, and 11D.
Just two, 11B and D.
Okay.
11B and what?
Excellent.
C?
Judge, there was
Item 3P.
3P, 4C, 11B, and 11D.
On item 3P, Judge Commissioners, is just a point of information. It's for fiscal year 2012. It's on the Stone Garden grant. Just a correction on the caption. It's for
Why don't
fiscal
we
year
approve
2012.
it subject to all the ones we're going to discuss?
Yeah.
Need a motion to approve the consent
Move for
agenda
approval.
stated? Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, go ahead.
On item 3P, if we can just approve it, subject to correction on the caption for fiscal year 2012.
That's a recommendation.
That's a recommendation, yes,
Move
sir.
for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item, consent agenda item 4C, no action, Judge Commissioners.
All right.
Okay, on item 11B, I'm going to be requesting, as I just spoke to the engineering firm and Precinct 4, requesting that it be approved subject to the submission by the engineering firm of the detailed invoice as requested through the auditor's office and as necessary in order for the audit and processing procedures to be
Marty,
complete.
we have two issues with that 11B.
Correct.
One is that invoice number 5 was not attached for review. However, invoice number 4 has not been submitted for payment, so
We're
those
asking-
go in sequence and the amounts carry forward. So we cannot pay 5 until we pay 4.
Correct. And we've asked that they submit the details as needed in order to properly process, and in the sequence they need to be processed. So I just got that commitment from them, so I'm asking that it be approved subject to,
So actually, you need action on B.
yes.
Approval.
But see, here's the issue again. The agenda item was to pay invoice number 5. But we
Correct.
cannot pay invoice 5 until number 4 is paid. So you have to come before court to get approval to pay 4.
Is that correct, Steve?
That's correct.
Well, if they're submitted, as soon as it's submitted, I'll put for 4. I'll submit for 4, but 5, it's pending that they actually just get it to us in the detailed format that is required. And you will hold up the processing until 4 is approved for payment.
So subject to,
Subject to that, the receipt of the detailed number 5,
Yeah.
but also the approval to
Is
pay
that okay
number
with you,
4.
See, I'd rather just wait until we pay 4 to pay 5.
Can
That's the whole
I'll
issue.
put it, you know what? I'll put them on for your Friday meeting.
there's no commissioners court next week from what
We're going to have to wait a couple of weeks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I believe there may be a meeting on Friday.
My Friday meeting is a 2-minute meeting to expedite a text dot project.
But either way,
Quorum Friday?
Yes, I have 3 members for Friday.
I'll be here.
Okay, Marty, then.
This Friday?
Yes,
next
Yeah, I'll
this
be
Friday.
here.
Okay, then I'll work with you, but, okay.
It'll be a very short
Okay.
so
caption.
no action on 11B?
Then no action until I place it.
All right.
And on E, let's see.
There's also a correction needed, Marty, so if you can correct that.
On that one, it is subject to the correction being submitted.
That one can be approved?
Can be
Subject to-
approved and considered,
That's my
yes.
motion.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty.
All right, at this time, I'm going to exercise the prerogative of the chair and move on down to the county judge's office, section 7, 7B. It's a resolution in honor of Isla Flores,
Isla.
Flores, I apologize, Commissioner, and Isabela Ortiz. We want to welcome these 2 young ladies here to our County Commissioners Court.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Karina Cardosa, Public Affairs Division. We're here to honor these 2 beautiful young ladies who are going to be representing this area at a pageant this week, and I'd like to ask their family members that are here with them today to come and join us behind the podium. Isla is joined by her mother, Ms. Ruby Science. If you can please join us over here. And Isabella is joined by her mother, Kendra Flores, her sister, Jocelyn Ortiz, her grandmother, Diana Flores, her grandfather, Mr. Joe Flores, her aunt, Claudia Flores, and her aunt, Luisa Ruiz.
I don't think it was made clear enough, but her grandfather, or their grandfather, is County Commissioner Joe Flores, Precinct 3.
So as I mentioned, these 2 young ladies are going to be representing this area, and I have a resolution to read that talks a little bit about this amazing feat that they're going to be accomplishing. And the resolution reads, Resolution in honor of Isla Flores and Isabela Ortiz. Whereas Isla Flores and Isabela Ortiz have called Hidalgo County their home all their lives, and whereas these 2 cousins will represent the Rio Grande Valley as they compete in the Universal Royalty Pageant in Austin, Texas on February 16th, and whereas 7-year-old Isla attends Garza Elementary School in McAllen and 5-year-old Isabella attends Lloyd and Dolly Benson Elementary in Sharyland, and whereas the girls are no strangers to competition. Isla was crowned as the 62nd Princess Anna during the 2012 Texas Citrus Festival. Isabella is a member of Missy's Modeling Agency, and they are both part of the Valley Cheer Elite cheerleading squad. And whereas these 2 young girls are excited that they are able to bring such positive recognition to Hidalgo County. Now therefore be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court hereby recognizes and honors Isla Flores and Isabela Ortiz for their ambition in the world of pageantry and bringing national recognition of talents in the Rio Grande Valley. Approve this 12th day of February 2013.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words, or if not, I'll go ahead and continue.
Yeah, first of all, me?
Yes, please, Commissioner.
First of all, you know, I feel proud having these 2 granddaughters compete. But Isla, she's an example to me, because I remember when she ran for, what was it, Princess Anne, I believe. It was a Thursday. She was up with 103-degree fever, and she was crying because she wanted to compete. And Friday came around, and she was still with a fever. And Saturday morning, she woke up, she was a fever, and I remember she cried, and we took her, my wife took her to the competition. She was crowned Princess Anna, so that says a lot to me. And of course, Isabella is younger than Isla, and they all mean a lot to me. You know, I've got 4 granddaughters. My oldest one is Victoria, but she's not with us today. She's in New Mexico, and then I've got Isla, which is second. Then I've got 2 granddaughters from my daughter, which is Isabella and Jossie. I get lost here. I have nothing but granddaughters, no grandsons at all. And we're behind you girls 150%. And I know this is going to be tough for them, but they're heading to Austin for this weekend. So I'm with you, 150 girls. We love you.
And I believe Isla has a few words to address the court.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Isla Dene Flores, and I'm super excited for this Friday because I want to win this pageant, and I'm going to try to do my best. Thank you.
We did want to make note of this recognition. As we know, pageants, they teach young ladies lifelong lessons that help develop the content of their character for their future. And these friendly competitions help children develop social skills, good sportsmanship, confidence, personal development, and communication skills. And wanted to also recognize some famous females who were former pageant queens, such as Eva Longoria, who is a famous actress now. She was 1988 Miss Corpus Christi. Oprah Winfrey, you may not know this, but she was Miss 1971 Miss Black Tennessee Teen. And even Diane Sawyer, who's a famous news reporter and anchor woman, 1963 America's Junior Miss. So once again, girls, congratulations. Good luck this weekend on behalf of the entire Hidalgo County. Congratulations. And judge and the court, if you all may come down to join us, we're going to be giving the girls with a basket, and I believe we're going to be crowning them as they make their way up to Austin. So they were just crowned with some good luck tiaras for their competition this weekend. And we'd like to present these baskets as well to the girls. Good luck, girls.
All right, let's complete that item 7. 7A is a resolution in honor of the Edinburgh High School cheerleaders. Good morning, ladies. and gentlemen.
Yes, Judge Commissioners, the item reads, resolution in honor of the Edinburgh High School cheerleaders. And we're joined today by this national award-winning team. If you all wouldn't mind joining us over here behind the podium. This team brought home a first-place championship after competing at the National Cheerleaders Association Senior and Junior High National Championship in Dallas. This is the first time in 20 years for this to happen to a school in the Valley, according to the sponsor, Ms. Eva Perez. 14 teams from Texas, Oklahoma, Hawaii, and Indiana battled it out in cheer and dance in the small co-ed intermediate high school division. We are joined here today by their coach, Ms. Eva Perez, and there's a librarian, a parent of a cheerleader, Ms. Esther Mendoza, the principal, Mr. Daniel Roma, and Ms. Perez and some of the co-captains, Caleb Echoes and Gianna Gonzalez, have a few words to say before we read the resolution. Ms. Perez?
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity of allowing us to be here. Our cheerleaders traveled on January 12th and 13th to Dallas, Texas to compete in the most prestigious event in cheerleading in the nation. Teams came from across the country to compete, and there was over 13,000 cheerleaders. Our girls were one of 14 teams in our division, and not only did they win their division, but they won by over 2 whole points, which is pretty much unheard of in cheerleading. And aside from that, they also won the specialty award in their division of superior showmanship. At this time, I would like to allow our captains to also say a couple of words about their experience.
Good morning, I'm Caleb Eccles, co-captain. This experience was amazing, going to Dallas and winning to be the first high school in the Valley to win. This group of girls and I worked very hard to win this title, and I'm very proud of each and every one of them, and I could not be more proud, and thank you for inviting us to this meeting today.
Hello, my name is Gianna Gonzalez, co-captain, and I just want to thank you so much for allowing us to be here. And it was quite a journey. We had a long, long year taking us to nationals. We went through a lot of long, hard practices, and it's just, it's amazing to be honored like this. It goes to show that our hard work was worth it. I'm so proud of my team. I feel very accomplished, and it was just a cherry on top of a senior year. Thank you so much.
And I believe they have a presentation to do. We're going to have Eden read the resolution first.
Good morning. So this resolution reads as, whereas Edinburgh High School sits in the heart of Hidalgo County and is a cornerstone of our community, whereas the Edinburgh High School varsity cheerleaders are under the direction of sponsor Eva Perez and composed of students from Edinburgh High School, whereas Edinburgh varsity cheerleaders competed in the 2012 National Cheerleaders Association Senior and Junior High School National Competition, whereas the Edinburgh High School varsity cheerleaders represented their school, city, community with great pride, whereas the Edinburgh High School varsity cheerleaders became the 2012 NCAA Senior and Junior High School National Competition first place champions out of teams across the nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Hidalgo County Commissioner Court hereby recognizes and honors the Edinburgh High School varsity cheerleaders as winners of the 2012 NCAA Senior and Junior High School National Competition, dated this 12th day of February 2013. Congratulations.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Motion carries.
Brief presentation.
Well, you want a picture before you leave?
They have a brief presentation first, Judge.
Oh, okay. Van a presentar, van a... No, I got it.
We concede that you should be
Thank you very much. And now we would like a picture, so if you don't just mind standing.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your accomplishments, and good luck to you in whatever endeavor you pursue after your high school career. I'm especially proud because I'm a 1966 graduate of Edinburgh High School.
Judge, also I'd like to extend as a commissioner, obviously, I was class of 1991, and I do offer
He's a baby.
Great congratulations.
All right. Item number 7C, appointment or reappointment of board member to the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority Board of Directors for a 2-year term. Bobby?
Yes, sir. The reappointment of Mr. Alonso Cantu from the city of McAllen. This is a reappointment. If you'd like, I can give you a bit of a bio on him. He's a University of Houston graduate with a BBA in finance. He's the president and CEO of Cantu Construction, chairman of the board, Lone Star National Bank, an original partner in the Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, a part owner of Valley Land Title, a majority owner of the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, and one of the original founders of the Vamos Scholarship Program, and a founding member of ACT, which encourages voter participation in our county. I ask for recommend approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We also have another reappointment, that of Mr. Michael Cano, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Made by Commissioner Tito Palacios out of precinct number 2. I need a motion to
That's on item number what?
on 7C, same one.
All right.
Judge, we also have a reappointment of Precinct 4, Forrest Reynolds. I know he's up as well. If we can do it
All
on the
right,
same
we'll
item.
do them both at the same time then.
And also, I believe Precinct 3, Rick Pettis is coming up, came up?
I think so. I need to.
Yes. Rick Pettis, same one.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All four
All of the current members are being reappointed
all four that were considered this morning are being reappointed.
to a 2-year term?
2-year terms.
Whatever the term is.
Well, whatever the term is, because I believe some are 2 and some are 1.
It's every other year.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 that are up, usually in February.
All right.
Okay, and item 7D, we have Andrew Cannon today from the Hidalgo County MPO. It's a discussion, consideration, and approval of amendments to the Hidalgo County Thoroughfare Plan as approved by the Hidalgo County MPO Transportation Policy Committee on January 24, 2013.
Morning, Mr. Cannon.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. As you know, yearly, the Hidalgo County MPO updates the Thoroughfare Plan, which is the plan that we use as a tool to preserve right-of-way for future projects and try to alleviate the burden of the purchase of right-of-way in the future. This year, my staff, Luis Diaz, and my other employees worked closely with the cities and with the county to update the Thoroughfare Plan. We had 3 changes from the city of McAllen, 1 change from Precinct 4 on Alberta to the Thoroughfare Plan, and this plan was unanimously approved by the MPO, so we're asking for the Commissioners Court to also approve this plan for the record.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Judge, item
Item
7E, a discussion and update on the I-69 Alliance meetings in Austin. Our Chief of Staff and myself, Yolanda Chapa, attended the I-69 briefing in Austin. The governor addressed the briefing to tell us that he was going to push the legislature to use $3.7 billion out of the rainy day fund for water and infrastructure, for infrastructure, which would include transportation and water projects as a one-time investment. He was also looking to end the diversion of the state tax, the gas tax. I'm sorry, to move it. That's about $1.3 billion a year that we're diverting to education instead of the roads. So he's looking to end that as well. They're very happy to say that more projects are going to continue to get the I-69 placard and signed, and we're looking forward to, at the end of the year, looking at US 83, 77, and 281 to do that also.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know Judge Sergio Valdez is in the audience. What item are you here on, Judge?
Number 8.
Well, let's take that one up then.
Oh.
Item 8A.
You can go back to work.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for allowing me to be here on this item on the agenda. I'm here on 8A, approval of the following salary adjustments. There's an increase and a decrease. There was some issues with this item agenda because there was an Attorney General's opinion. I've been working with Valerie Glass, and I think Josie Solis is here on her behalf this morning. Because the budget was approved for County Court 7 prior to my election, and Rolando Cantu, my predecessor, had adjusted the budget in a certain way. I'm moving to adjust the salaries, and the question is whether I had that request prior to the employment of the 2 employees. By way of background, the 2 employees who are at issue here were employed with my law office, and I'm making this request based on their experience. One of them worked with me for over 10 years, the other one for approximately 1 year prior to my being elected. And so that's the basis for that. But to address the Attorney General's opinion, my request to adjust the salary was initiated and made prior to their employment, so that when they came on board, they were employed with that adjustment now. Because of the logistics with my election and getting sworn in, I wasn't able to do it a month before or several months before because I simply didn't have the authority. Although I was elected in November, I didn't take office till January. And so to address the Attorney General opinion, my understanding in speaking with Valerie Glass is that this is permissible as long as I proceeded in the way that I've explained to you. That is, that I have requested the salary adjustment first and then hired the employees thereafter. To support that, we provided written statements from these 2 employees that when they were employed, the adjustment had already been requested, and that they undertook these positions knowing that these were going to be their salaries. And so I am requesting that adjustment.
Well, wait a minute. Can we legally do that, Steve? Decrease somebody's salary by, even though they're employed already?
I think Josie's here to speak on that, Joe.
Judge Valdez had conferred with Valerie Glass on this issue, and I think she already discussed it with you, Mr. Crane. The fact that the judge had requested the adjustments to the salary when the positions were still vacant is the issue. And because he did that prior to filling the positions, then it is acceptable under the controlling AG opinion.
And that particular person is okay with it?
Yes, we have a statement.
They're both all right?
They're both.
Second?
We do have in the policy, we do have
One-
a way.
One additional thing, just to not complicate this any further, is we're not requesting that those be retroactive. That's been discussed, so there's no further issue along those lines, and that statement does indicate that they're accepting those salaries.
All right. We have a motion and a second for approval. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move back to item 5, open forum. First presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. False imprisonment is the restraint of a person's motion by threat or show of force. False imprisonment is a crime against the victim and the state. I am being held in unending and unresolvable police-enforced false imprisonment as a result of a petition for divorce. I have never heard of anybody else being awarded false imprisonment for a divorce settlement. During our marriage, Joe and I invested in land. In my opinion, a sensible and legal divorce settlement would have required only a survey of our land and a fountain pen. One line drawn north to south through the survey, and one sentence: Joe, this is yours, and Opal, this is yours. Bye, y'all. Have a good life, is all that was needed in 1997, 16 years ago. The catch being this simple division of our community property between Joe and me requires the community property to be returned to the people who actually own it. Here we are in 2013. There is no divorce settlement or final divorce. The law is when Joe died April 24th, 2003, the case had to be dismissed. It is not. For our divorce settlement, the court divided a non-existent $650,000. Non-existent because Joe and I did not have $650,000 for the court to divide. For a divorce settlement, the court divided a conjectured, non-existent substitution, and because Joe and I still had to earn it, pure hot air. Regarding a divorce settlement, our community property between Joe and me, the court did nothing. Therefore, Joe and I still own our community property undivided and equally. Presently, Joe's community property is the estate of Joe Billman. Texas law passes the estate of Joe Billman to his 3 heirs. The heirs of Joe Billman own the estate of Joe Billman. Texas law passes my community property to me as my community property. Right now, our community property is owned equally and undivided by the estate of Joe Billman and Opal Billman. I was born in the USA. You know, that's the country where the power is held by the people, who elect representatives to exercise the principles of law upon them. Due process of law asserts the law is to be fair and just. Due process of law is written into both the 5th and 14th Amendments of the Constitution. The Constitution of the United States prohibits individual states from depriving the people of life, liberty, property, due process of law, and equal protection of the law to any person. Joe and I worked for the money that bought the land and paid the taxes on the land for many years. Joe sold nothing. I sold nothing. The property remains the community property of Opal and Joe Billman. I want my freedom from false imprisonment. As an American citizen, I want the violations of my civil rights to be ended. Thank you very much.
Next. Steve never did.
Did you ever look into it? No. Did you ever look into it? And?
Next presenter is Ms. Virginia Townsend.
Good morning again.
Yes, ma'am.
Incidentally, I want to thank everybody for getting here on time. That was wonderful. Surprising, but wonderful. I've got on my, where I signed up, that it's memories, because even though I'm getting a little older, I still have some good memory. And I remember at least 3 years, we have been talking about having a county engineer. Now, I don't know what happened to it, because everybody liked the idea back then. I thought it was a good idea back then. I still do. It doesn't threaten the engineering companies that work for the county, because that's not how it works. So I don't see why anybody is stopping it or feels threatened by it, or it's just good business. And I think most counties our size do have a county engineer. It would help our projects stay together and have some organization and get done faster. I don't know, it's just a better idea. Please consider it, talk about it, whatever. And the other thing I remembered was, I remember how proud all the mayors of Mission were that we had a rail permit. Nobody else has one, but we have one, and it's with Mexico or something, and it was created to bring products into the United States. But when we started talking about a rail study, that's what we were talking about, freight. Where it turned into a passenger rail study, I don't know. But that is totally, and it offends me that we got a grant, and I like grants, I know how they help, but we got a grant and we used it for a feasibility study, and yet the result is it's not feasible. But nobody has the nerve to say that. They're going to ask for another grant to do another feasibility study. I don't know what we're doing here. Do we have the nerve to say, look, we used the money correctly, we used it for a feasibility study. It's not feasible to have a passenger rail. You want to work on freight rail or something unusual, or some kind of thing with Mexico? Maybe, but not passenger rail. We're wasting our time, and we're certainly wasting our money. Thank you very much.
Next presenter is Lydia Jeffrey. Okay, thank you, sir. Item 6, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Item 6A, 1 and 2, there's no action at this time unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. I'm going to delay item 6B while Mr. Sunday gets here. Item 6C, I'm asking the court to accept a settlement agreement from Travelers Insurance Company in the amount of $8,080.60, and this is to settle a loss auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is related with that request. I'm also asking to authorize Mr. Guadalupe Trevino, our county sheriff, to sign the power of attorney forms for title purposes to settle the loss auto claim with Travelers Insurance Company.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6D is for Precinct 1 right-of-way. I'm requesting approval of a claim invoice. That claim invoice is 2079 from Leonel Garza Jr. and Associates. This is permitted under, or it was as permitted under contract C12-085-0327. In the past, the auditor has historically paid these services without a purchase order. They paid it in the amount of $1,300, and it's in connection with a condemnation hearing testimony on the Mile 2 West Road Phase 2 project parcel number 106. I'm asking for this to be done with the authority of the county treasurer to issue the payment check after the review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by our county auditor.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'm going to defer to item F just real quickly. Item F, I'm asking permission to allow Mr. Juan Martinez, our fire marshal, to attend the Texas Emergency Management Conference in San Antonio, and this will be March 25th through March 28th of this year.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, I'm asking no action.
All right.
And if I can go back now to item E, Judge, it's discussion, consideration, and action on rescheduling, canceling the Commissioners Court meeting of Tuesday, February 19th this year, and this is as a result of our Commissioners Court members attending a education conference in Austin. It'll be held next week. It'll be from February 19th through the 21st. Judge, Commissioners, I am asking to reschedule next week's meeting, given that they will be out all week, to this Friday at 11 o'clock. We will make the agenda minimal in that we will just put essential items. Right now, we just have 3 items, one being the TxDOT project of importance to Precinct 1. I am going to place on the agenda approval of bills. I'll ask the auditor to do whatever he can with respect to processing of bills for Friday, and that other item that we just saw or that we heard about from Marty.
This Friday.
Yes, sir, this Friday at 11 o'clock. I will inform the court if there are any other issues that come up. I will confer with the court, but I do want to let the court know that this will be a short meeting. I also want to inform the court that we are posting to hold Friday's meeting at 11 o'clock at our old Commissioner's Courtroom at the old administration building.
Well, can you make it in the afternoon to allow us to process as many payments as possible?
Yeah, yes.
What do you mean afternoon? At what time?
I'm sorry?
What time?
Right after lunch or 1 or 2 in the afternoon?
Maybe 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Sooner the better.
All right, 1 o'clock? Okay, 1 o'clock then, Monica, 1 o'clock.
Move for approval.
Okay?
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, on item 9, human resources.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Item 9A, under Civil Services, discussion, consideration, and action on appointment or reappointment to Civil Service Commission Board to fill 2 vacancies.
All right, I'm going to be reappointing that young lady that's on the board right now.
Okay.
Judge, if I may,
By the name of Aurora Zamora?
Yes.
I would recommend Silvestre Rodriguez.
I'm sorry, Commissioner?
Silvestre
Rodriguez.
So one of the members will be ousted, right? Yeah.
Well, the chairperson and the vice chair their terms ended in January. The chairperson requested not to be reappointed, okay, because she couldn't attend, but the vice chair did request it.
That position goes over to precinct number 2.
Right now, yes, the other vacancy was 2, and the next one will be precinct 1.
Yeah.
Because precinct 4 has 1 on board right now.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so it's only 2 people we're voting on, Aurora Zamora and Silvestre Rodriguez.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Olivares informed me that he had nothing to present on our item 10. Item 11,
So 10A and B, no action, Judge?
no action.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Diana Serna for the Urban County Program. Our first item on the agenda is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262.024A.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item A2 is a presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of at least 3 engineering firms. From the approved pool, the firms evaluated were DOS Logistics, INC with a grade of 96.34, Quintanilla Headley and Associates with a grade of 93.67, Perez Consulting Engineers with a grade of 92.34. This is for a street improvement project in Precinct 4.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is the authority to negotiate a professional engineering service contract with the #1 ranked firm of DOS Logistics.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item B.
Item B is the, just a second. I'm sorry, just a minute. This is a request on behalf of the City of Palmview requesting the approval of a best and final negotiated contract for professional engineering services with Sames Incorporated in the amount of $29,105.50 for a street improvement project which will be on Abram Road Bridge.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
Yeah,
carries.
is this the bridge for the irrigation district or which one?
I cannot say, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the exact location.
All right.
I just know it's on Abram Road. Item C, Judge, I have a correction in the caption that I'd like to advise the court about. I'm going to go ahead and read the caption, then I'll tell you what the correction is. The Urban County Program on behalf of Precinct 2 is requesting approval of a change order number 1 for a construction contract with DOS Logistics under the General Land Office Contract 10-5066-000-5043 for the project known as the Minnesota Drain Project. The change order will increase the construction contract amount from $332,037.95 to $388,008.20 for a total increase of $55,970.25. Now, it said utilizing the utilizing Hidalgo County Precinct 2 Certificate of Obligation Funds. However, that should be identified as Precinct 2 CO 1342 funds instead of the 2013 Certificate of Obligation Funds.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is consideration and approval to authorize the county judge to sign any and all documents associated with this change order or amendments pertaining to the GLO contract.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I thank you, Judge. Commissioners.
Thank you. Item 12, our public defender.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Patty Loya for Public Defender's Office. Item 12A, approval of 2014 Hidalgo County Resolution Indigent Defense Discretionary Grant Program.
Move for approval.
Second. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
This new monies that you're trying to get,
Well, it's to submit our application for 2014.
and this is to hire lawyers or to do what?
No, it's just the juvenile section.
Okay, thank you. Item 13, our planning department.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Raul Cecin, Planning Administrator. First item on the agenda is approval interlocal agreement between City of Peñitas and Hidalgo County, allowing Hidalgo County to install culverts, pipes in Upper Valley Estates subdivision. This interlocal has been reviewed by legal counsel. We have accounts that the county has maintained over a long period of time in certain subdivisions in the county when the county used to take escrows for culvert pipes for installation of driveways. And since Peñitas now is inside the city limits, that subdivision, we have to get into an interlocal agreement, and the county will still continue to do the work, but this action must be taken before the county.
What's going to happen here if we had a subdivision approved, say, 10 years ago, and we took that escrow, and the pipe's worth almost twice as much now?
Commissioner, that's an issue that we're dealing with every day. All the precincts, my understanding right now, are covering those differences, sir. That is an issue that we have to face. For example, the Precinct 1 has 151 lots still pending, and there's only $41,935 left, which is an average of about $267 per lot. Precinct 2 only has 25 lots at $55,7760, which is $223. Precinct 3 has 538 lots, which is the biggest, at $129,628.80 escrow money left, which is $240.95.
How much is that short?
Well, you're probably putting a couple hundred at least per driveway, at least. And then Precinct 4 has 164 lots with $45,742.80 in escrow, which is about an average of $278. You're probably putting at least $200 or $300 per lot, because this was back when the original rules were created, way back when we required the escrowing of those culverts. And obviously, my office has been maintaining. What I like to do, and we've talked to the auditor and been discussing the possibility of liquidating these accounts into the precincts. The precincts will manage them anyway. Basically, the person gets sent to the precinct, and then they contact us for reimbursement once the work is done. So there's coordination from my office, but the precincts are the one really doing the bulk of the work. And right now, the precinct is covering that excess of the difference, whatever the pipe cost is. You know, it used to be concrete, and now I know we're looking at going with plastic pipe to try to cover the cost of doing that work. But the precinct does do all the work, and this is a small amount cost-wise to cover the pipe, what's there, so.
Is that going to cause any problems, Horacio? No?
No, I don't think so.
I think we need to work with the auditors to liquidate that, these these accounts and let the precincts manage them, because, I mean, we have a list of all the subdivisions, and we have a list of all the lots that have been installed and the lots that are still pending and everything. We could turn that over to each precinct. We have them by precinct. They manage it. When the person comes in for an application to a driveway, well, the precinct has that fund to, you know, whatever is allocated to install it, and just for those particular, only those developments that are listed on that list that have that escrow, that's it. You know.
We like the current arrangement because he monitors and he issues a letter to us certifying that the work has been done. But now we're going to have to require that from the precincts, telling us that
well, I think the precincts could.
Yeah, I think we can take that.
Can do the same thing?
I think they can manage it, I think. Yeah, I think that's a pretty straightforward thing. I mean, they do the work now anyway, all of it, you know. All we do is basically send a clearance, here's your money, precinct, you know, get the money out.
I just don't want for 2 years from now, some of those people that buy those lots come in and try to get a culvert or whatever, and we say, no, there's not, you know.
And Commissioner, you're correct there, because there's only allocated funds. It depends on the year that subdivision, because if you look at it, some subdivisions only had like $177 deposited per culvert, and then later they got $300, and now they're up to $450, the last section. So, you know, it's a staggered deposit that they did. It wasn't just a set fee, because it was based on the cost at the time. As we know, you know, these 10, 15, 20-year developments, those cost has gone up. On the material alone, the precinct doesn't charge for the labor. Yeah. They do the work, but we could run an analysis and look at the cost that we have on file now. I don't have that in front of me, but I could compare that, what's costing now material-wise, and what we have an account, and we can give you a precinct shortage based on the numbers that we currently have, so you can have an idea of how much the precinct has to invest to get these projects done. Another option is to go in there and put them all in. And say, we're going to put them in the center of the lot. Let's put them all in one time thing and get it done and be done with it. And you know, and you'll have that number of investment costs.
Couldn't we just tell the developer to install them?
Well, Commissioner, these were already developments, old developments that the developer gave the cost to us. He gave that up front. We no longer require this anymore. The developer now puts it in, or we don't take escrows for culvert driveways anymore because of these situations that we have.
And what we do, once we get a letter from the planning department that the road has been constructed, then we move those monies into the precinct.
Yeah, but this is a different issue. This is just culverts, not the road. You're referring to escrows, and yes, we still need to monitor that because that's part of the construction activity that we monitor during the development. Right. These are just simply only culvert installations of older subdivisions. Yeah. And we're thinking that if my recommendation would be to go and analyze and see what the actual cost is of each driveway now, present it to the Commissioner's Court, and then go in and just install them on all the lots and say, we're going to put it in the middle of the lot here, and you have a driveway there.
This goes up to 19 what?
Come again, sir?
This ones that we've got, when was it when we didn't accept that escrow anymore? What year was it?
Commissioner, I don't recall. It was before my time, I know that.
Yeah, it goes back several years, I think.
It was before my time, I know that.
We still have 500 and some lots that haven't requested their...
538, sir, in your precinct alone.
Probably 10 years old?
Yes, sir. I've been here 12 years, and I know we haven't taken escrows in 12 years, so these subdivisions are older than 12 years.
What's the cost?
So you're correct, sir.
What's the cost?
Well, it averages, depending, right now, I need to look at the cost, but I'm thinking probably $400 or $500 for now per culvert, and you only have an average of about $200 and something right now, based on the numbers that I'm seeing, 260.
So
I think what we need to do is,
short.
if I'm to recommend, do an analysis, what the total cost is, present it to the court, and maybe just identify those lots that are on this list, install them, and be done with it.
Yeah, but then again,
you're paying for that now anyway. The commissioners are paying for that now.
You might go to a lot of those lots and they've already got their own.
And we can do that, Commissioner. We can definitely do that. We can do an analysis of the lots that we have there, work with the precincts to assist us some, and you know, it may take us 45 days, 60 days to come back to you and say this is what we have, and close them out. That way we're not having to maintain them, and you take your one-time hickey and be done with it.
But you're still going to be involved, Mr. Singh? You're still going to be involved in identifying all of this?
Yeah, oh, definitely, okay. Definitely. But what you were referring earlier was the escrow. We are involved in that, sir. We do certify that the road's been constructed. We do inspect it and so forth. That's a separate issue of development, the 1/3 escrows and stuff. But we are very involved in that. Yes, sir.
So you need action on B1?
On this interlocal, yes, sir. There is a cap, just for the record, of $11,721.60 for this interlocal, which is the amount left in that account for that subdivision, sir.
All right, move for approval.
Second.
That's us to what, 13A, 1 and 2, or just
Yes, sir.
one?
If you want to hold both of them collectively, that other one is to enter into that.
The other one is a project.
Yes, sir. It's the actual project itself. Yes, sir.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much. The next item is the variance request to Appendix 5, Section 3.4, drainage requirements for proposed Sharyland ISD Pioneer High School subdivision. Originally, when this subdivision was submitted and was approved by the Commissioners Court, the Advisory Board, and the Commissioners Court, they were going to take part of the southern portion of the subdivision that's in a flood zone out of it. However, they're requesting a variance to not do that at this time. They're not going to be building anything in that area. It's going to be a detention area, and in the future, if they decide to build anything, then they will have to file a letter of map provision based on field and comply with the FEMA requirements. Since it's an industrial use and there's no residential use being done here, we see no objection to it. The Advisory Board has recommended approval, and I recommend approval as well.
This is on B?
Yes, sir, on B-A.
Yeah.
B1A.
B1A, yes, sir. And again, we looked at it. It's a southern section of the development. It's not in any of the areas that they're building the school or anything. It's a detention area that falls in a flood zone. But however, since our rules state that anything that is in a flood zone must be taken out when you plat, and they're platting, they have to request a variance.
All right.
We have no objection to it.
Need a motion to approve?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B1B is the discussion granting of a variance for Section 2.24 road drainage and general utility construction specifications. This is in Precinct 1. It's a continuation of a road that requires the paving width to be 36 feet. However, the existing road is already 24. The road runs for another half a mile, and then it dead ends at one of the major canals over there. So we don't see the need of requiring the 36-foot wide pavement section, just do the 24 as per what's existing there. It's a similar situation that we presented to Precinct 3, and I have my same recommendation that we allow the construction of the 24, which is our standard county road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the last item is development permit request, discussion and action to issue conditional development permit for the construction of Sharyland ISD High School. Currently, the plat has been approved by the city of McAllen, and it's also been approved by the county as well. However, it's still going through the routing process to be recorded, and in order for a permit to be issued, the plat must be recorded. However, since it's not a residential model rules plat, it's an industrial use in commercial, and they're requesting that they can start the permitting process because they have a deadline to finish by August 2014. We have no objection to that. We put a condition on there that we would not issue final light until the plat gets recorded, because we've had issues in the past where plats don't get recorded and easements and so forth are not granted, right-of-ways, so forth, and they've agreed to that condition, so I'm bringing it before the court. And my recommendation would be to issue it with the condition, and if they don't meet that condition, then come back to the court and get direction as to which to proceed before we issue final light for them.
Would entertain a motion to approve?
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Item 14, Precinct 1.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, sir.
We're requesting item 1, and we'll take, I guess, item 1, 2, and 3. We're deleting an administrative position, Clerk Ford, and creating a road maintenance. It's not going to change. The salaries are going to remain the same. And then we have the approval of the interdepartmental transfer and approval of the revised salary schedule. It's number 3.
Is this a vacant position? Or?
It's a vacant position.
Okay, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
My motion was on 1, 2, and 3.
Number
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Number 14B is the authorization to appoint. We have four appointments to the Emergency Service District Number 2. I'll mention the names here: Concepcion Villanueva, Melissa Perez, and Gilberto Hinojosa, for a term of 1 year, starting January 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2013. Actually, this is 2 years. Oscar Garza is for a 1-year term from January 1st to December 31st of 2013. And this is pursuant to the Texas Health and Safety Code, section 775.034.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Item 15, Precinct 3.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. We
Morning,
have an
sir.
appointment also of a board member to the Tropical Texas Behavior Center Board of Trustees for a 2-year term, effective February the 12th, which is today, Judge.
Yolanda Olivares.
Yolanda Olivares.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Judge, item 16A is requesting approval of the process following invoice as a claim with the authority for the county treasurer to issue payment after review, audit, and processing procedures is completed by county auditor. Mobile Race Partners LTD, invoice AIR 000309994 for $865.90. It's a reoccurring monthly expense that we have, Judge. Typically, they bill us on the 1st of every month. The PO was issued on the 4th, so there's a 3-day off, so we had to process it.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 17, Budget Office.
Item 17A, morning, Judge, Commissioner, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. 17A is discussion, consideration, acceptance, and approval of advanced funding agreement between the State of Texas and the County of Hidalgo for preliminary engineering for the construction of a 4-lane urban roadway on Thomas Road. This will be from Jackson Road to Stewart Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
17A2 is authority for the county judge to sign the advanced funding agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 3 is approval of the interfund transfer from the Precinct 2 road maintenance to the TxDOT projects fund, and the total amount of $44,169. This is for the initial payment for the state.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
On item 17B is discussion, consideration, and approval to set the WIC program indirect cost allocation rate at 10% for the grant year 2013. This is the same indirect cost rate that we had last year.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17C1 and 2 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds for the Precinct 1 Drainage Improvement Projects, Program 52, in the amount of $38,562.22.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Item 17C2, A and B is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds for the Precinct 4 Drainage Improvement Project, Program 36, in the amount of $29,750.29.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 17D1A is approval to transfer, adjust, remove, and authorize allowances for various positions in accordance with the law enforcement pay plan and the Hidalgo County longevity pay policy as illustrated on the attached exhibit. These are allowances that are being transferred from one deputy to another deputy within the law enforcement pay plan based on the pay plan that the court approved. They're being transferred from one assignment to another assignment, or they're being removed from an assignment, and others that did not have an assignment pay are being now granted the assignment.
You are recommending this, right?
Yes, sir. We are recommending this.
Move for approval.
1, 2, and A, B, C, and D.
Yes, sir.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you. Item 18, purchasing.
Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department. Nothing to report or action to be considered or taken on 18A, 1, 2, A, B, and C. Item 3 is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the firms graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional engineering services for construction materials testing, those being PSI at 94, L&G at 100, and Millennium at 92. Does the court wish to score them in the order of their grades?
Yeah.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for Purchasing Department to negotiate a contract with the number 1 ranked of L&G.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
4 is acceptance and approval of the certificate of substantial completion from contractor D. Wilson Construction, reflecting the date of December 20th, 2012, for the construction of the Sheriff's Office substation in the Precinct 1 area, as submitted by the architect Janak and Associates.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B1 is for Precinct 4, a request for exemption under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking of Mata and Garcia Architects at 98, EGV Architects at 95, and Dannenbaum at 94. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Move for approval.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for the Purchasing Department to seek to negotiate a professional and architectural contract with Mata and Garcia
Move for approval.
Architects.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sunday, were you going to be making a presentation?
Yeah, there was one on.
Yeah, Mr. Guerra said that we were going to wait till you got here, obviously.
No, I don't think I've got anything to say.
B.
You gonna save us money?
$5 million.
1B or something?
When are you going to complete those modulars?
It's a great question, sir. Despite our arduous efforts to expedite the change directive process, it has not gone in an expedient fashion in any way. The architects and engineers took several weeks to get all of the changes into the drawings. We didn't feel as though they were that complicated.
What is your best estimate, sir?
It's difficult to tell at this time. Over the past 2 weeks, what was supposed to happen was the job order contractor was supposed to submit the cost proposals to meet those changes, and that hasn't transpired.
Because we're already, what, a month overdue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The contract management function of the process has been difficult to expedite.
All right. Anything else you needed from Mr.
What's your
Hunter?
best, excuse me, your best estimated time, given all the problems?
That's predicated upon the response that the contractor gets tomorrow about whether or not they're close to $500,000 in invoices have been approved for payment and will be on the Commissioner's Court agenda for consideration next Tuesday. CAS explained to me that they started slowing down a couple of weeks ago because the subcontractors had not been paid, they had not been paid, the material suppliers had not been paid, and what CAS is waiting for is to confirm tomorrow whether...
Why haven't gotten paid?
I don't know, sir.
CAS had invoicing that they submitted, and Marty can better explain, but because of the way that the invoicing works, there was many line items that had to be verified.
All the line items have to be verified
Right.
with the backup documentation. That was all handed over to the auditor's office, I believe, Friday. What's today? Tuesday, Friday. I spoke to Ms. Lupita. Yesterday she was going over the actual list of items. There were 10 pages. She was on page 7 at the time. It was early in the day. Her goal was to have a payment, hopefully, if processed, if everything went well, was next Tuesday. Now, obviously, you're not going to have a meeting.
Well, but, right, we're having a meeting Friday, and I obviously will work closely with the auditor's office in the next day or two, yes, to see if we can get payment to CIS this coming Friday.
Correct.
Okay?
All right.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
I need a motion pursuant to 551071 and 072 of the Texas Government Code to proceed to executive session.
So moved. Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. It's 11:22, we'll be in executive session. Okay, good morning.
Raúl.
He has to go in straight.
I don't feel well. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I thought maybe I'm just... My sister?
Yeah, we're back.
All right, we're back in open session. Mr. Guerra?
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Under open session, item 20A, there is no action. Real estate acquisition. Appropriation is same. Item 20B, pending and or potential litigation, no action. Item 20C, claim of Verizon. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $1,415.41.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 20D, claim of Hidalgo County versus Maria Teresa Zamora. I would like to disclose that we are assigning that to Ms. Josie Ramirez at the DA's office for processing. Item 20E, claim of Hidalgo County versus Dora Perez. Again, Judge, Commissioner, I'd like to disclose for the record we're assigning that to Josie Ramirez at the DA's office for processing. Item 20F, claim of Hidalgo County versus Norma Duque. There is no further action to be taken on this issue. Item 20G, CL 13024-E, Lydia Flores versus Hidalgo County, David Esquivel and Sylvia Esquivel. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like to refer back to agenda items 6A1 and 2. Item 6A1, requesting exemption from the competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.024A4, professional service for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6A2, I'm requesting the engagement with the firm of Atlas and Hall Rodriguez for the provision of legal services representation in connection with litigation and authority to submit a letter of engagement, specifically Lydia Flores versus Hidalgo County, David Esquivel and Sylvia Esquivel.
Move for approval. Move for approval.
Okay, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Item 20H, claim of Edinburgh Real Estate Network, proceed as directed. 20I, claim of Fabian Ibarra, Felix Lamos, and Victor Garcia, proceed as directed.
Move for approval.
Yes, please.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Need a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Commissioner.